Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is another Commonplace notebook update with a few like little hobby additions I thought I'd throw in as well. So let's just dive in and get started. I had a few questions about how I print my digital Commonplace pages from that like 1 year of commonplacing video. So I have a new sheet here. So let's actually start with that and I'll show you guys how I update my Commonplace book. So I just have a very simple, like regular printer at home. I will link it down below, and I just print this on like the standard paper, but high quality. I do my designing in a program called InDesign. It's Adobe InDesign. It's what I used to do all of my like newspaper layout editing in. So I'm just really familiar with it. I'm sure that there are other softwares and stuff you can use, but that's just what I use. So I print on a 8.5 by 11 sheet, and I have little margins in my document that help to like tell me where to put things. I just print it off on a regular sheet of paper. So what I'm gonna do next is fold it, and when it is folded, the open end is on the inside of the rings, and so it's more stable than having these like two sides potentially like coming apart on the outside. So this is where the hole punch is going to be, and I'm just going to line it up, be very particular about it. I use glue tape to adhere the two sides together. I find that it causes less like rippling than like a regular glue stick. So it's just also like way easier to use. So I go around the edges and then do a few on the inside just to kind of, you know, stick it together. And then I'm very careful when I fold it back to try and line everything back up. Like so. And then I have just a regular 3-hole punch that I've adjusted the sections to be the correct like width apart for my particular binder that I use. So sometimes there's like 6-ring half sheet binders or whatever, but I have a 3-ring half sheet binder. So I've just adjusted this to the 5.5 sections on here. And then I added a little piece of washi tape down here because then I didn't know exactly like where to put it, because I couldn't put the paper all the way down here with these 3-hole punches because it'd be wrong. So I just like eyeballed it and tested it for a while to figure out the best spot for it and put this little tape here. I'm sure there's a better way for it, but this is just what I have been doing. I don't print pages like that often, so there wasn't really a need for an extra cutter or hole punch since I already had this one. So I just line it up to the top of that washi tape line, and then I hole punch it, and then there you go. Makes my little page. Then go back into the binder, just like that. And it just like reinforces the edges. So these are all like folded pages, and I just think it's like easier to flip through them, and it will hold up better to wear and tear. So thank you guys for your questions. And if you have any more about the process of the digital Commonplace, let me know. But this page that we just added was my newest page. So we talked about the unabridged journals of Sylvia Plath before, and then I finished my notes of the section that I did read. I feel like it's the type of thing that I will be reading slowly throughout my entire life and like revisiting. So I got to around page 200 before I returned it to the library, and eventually I'll get back into it and reading it again. I definitely feel like you have to be in a certain mindset and mood for the unabridged journals, and I needed to have a little switch. Next section is about the Mysteries of Harris Burdock. This is a little like book of pictures with captions that back in, I think 9th grade was when my English teacher first introduced it to us, and we wrote a short story based on one of the images. For a while, I completely forgot about that book and the name of it, and it just kind of like lingered in the back of my mind, and I couldn't really remember anything about it until my friend Lauren like asked our English teacher what the book was and got me a copy of it. So to me, that is a perfect thing to put into a Commonplace book, something that I can look back on and remember those little details that my brain just enjoys forgetting, but I want to remember those little like nagging thoughts that you can't just quite put your finger on and get the name or the word out. So I put it in here. So I'm very excited about that. And I have a few of the little images down there. And since I didn't have a lot of highlighted quotes from the books I've been reading recently, I thought I would do like a combined little section for them. So these are some of the books I read over the last month, and I added the few quotes from each of them there. And then there's a pottery inspiration part down here that will continue on to the next page, but I don't have a full like 2-page spread done. Sometimes I'll print them out for like this video. I'll print off like a half-finished page so I can share with you guys what I'm currently doing. But if it's like between update videos, I will usually wait until I have both sides done. So there is a bit of the next page done on my computer, but I just haven't finished it yet. Let's do the Traveler's Notebook update next. In my like walkthrough video, I'm pretty sure the detailed one, I went on about how I don't like the Traveler's Notebook Company paper. So you can tell the two different colors. This is the one that came with the cover originally, and then I bought some inserts of Traveler's Notebook Company so I could feel like I was part of it. That's the TLDR. And I didn't like the paper. So this is like my doodle notebook where I've been trying to doodle. So in order to get around my qualms about the paper being really thin and being able to like shadow through it and seeing all my like drawings through it, I am going to glue the pages together. So this has 2 pages just adhesive taped together, and you can't see the shadowing of the first page through it. I mean, if you look very carefully, you can, but it's just so much better. So I think I'm going to just continue to do that. I've only done it on the first page as kind of like a test, but I am going to continue to do that for the rest of the book. So for my goal of the year, I wanted to fill 1 insert with doodles, this first goal. So I think now it has to be 2 inserts because the pages are cut in half, but that's completely fine. And I think that just solves my issue with the pages so that I can still get use out of the books. It's just to combine the pages together, and then I probably won't purchase them in the future. And so that way I'm not wasting and I get to use them, but now I know that it's just not for me with the pen style that I like to use. Other than that update, I'm still really enjoying my Traveler's Notebook. I just think it's a really, really great system for where I'm at and how I use my like notebooks and stuff. So it's just really nice to have them all in one place. My to-do list is going great, so I'm really happy there. This month I took up coloring. It was something that has been on my radar for a while, and I see it all over YouTube, and I find myself watching those videos of people coloring just for like hours on end. So I decided to finally get some of my own. I don't have any like fancy markers. I just bought the Target alcohol markers. This is their like, I forget what even brand this is. It's on the pen. The Mondo Llama brand. So they're not the greatest in like color range, but I really like them. As for like pigmentation and use, I think they're really great. I think the shape of them is a bit odd because it's like a really chunky triangle, and the way I hold pens is strange. So this like affects my hands, and I feel like they tire out my hands a lot using this style. So I'm looking for other alcohol markers, but I also didn't want to like spend too much money if it wasn't something I wanted to stick with. So I'll give it a little bit more time before I purchase another set of alcohol markers. But if you guys have any suggestions of good ones, let me know because I'm definitely looking for them. So I wanted to show you guys because like who else would I be telling about this? So I figured you guys were a good crowd for it, so I can like share my little drawings. So this is the first one I got, and then there is a Fuzzy Friends one as well. But I did my little test page. And I am the type of person that goes in order. So I'm just going each page, whatever the art is, I'm coloring it in. So I did this little pizza shop. And a lot of the times on these like videos, they're all about like shadowing. So I like did some shadows around the curtains and like the picture frame and stuff. So definitely figuring it out. Not a professional color by any means, but I'm having a good time with it. And there's always that like pro tip to add some paper behind it. So this is my little like behind paper when you're like coloring it in. So I did this little pet shop one. And yeah, so I really like the colors of these markers. I think the pigmentation's really nice and they like fill in really pretty, but the colors themselves are very similar. So like all these browns all look very similar. Like it's hard to tell the difference between them. So it just feels like maybe I only have like 10 different colors in here instead of like 30 or how many are actually in here. So I did this page, this little kitchen, this bookshop where I definitely did the shadows wrong on the plan, so kind of went overboard there. This little holiday one. So like I said, I'm definitely fixating on this and going like crazy. Then I started working on this one, but then something happened and I had to go work on something else. But it's been a lot of fun and really relaxing and easy to do and just kind of mindless. And I find that like an hour or two can pass and I don't even know what happened. I was like, oh, I've just been coloring. So that has been a lot of fun. But like I said, if you have any suggestions of a better set of markers that has a good range. I don't want 150 markers. I feel like that's absurd. I would like a set similar to this that has a better range of color options, like a light gray, a dark gray, a light pink, a dark pink. And I just feel like these are all a little too similar. So any suggestions would be great. One last thing before I bid you adieu. I wanted to see if you guys had any questions about my daily journaling. So it originally started as a morning pages thing, and now I just write 3 pages every single day. I am in year 3, and I'm thinking about doing a video kind of talking about like the big hangups people have with getting into a journal practice and kind of sharing my experience. But I wanted to check with you guys if there are any questions that you have about it. I filled up 29, this is number 29 of these journals. So like your girl has written a lot. So let me know if you have any questions about that or if there's any interest in seeing that video. I've been like mulling it over for a while now and I just haven't quite figured out how to say what I want to say yet. So if there are any questions that might help kind of steer me into the right direction of something that you guys are interested in seeing. So that would be incredibly helpful. But that is going to be it for today's video. As always, if you have any questions, comments, thoughts about commonplacing and journaling or whatever, any sort of advice or recommendations, I'm always looking for it and I very much appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to see more videos from me and I'll see you guys in the next one.